All right, so, we do the Game Time Top 20 countdown through August, right?
We do.
Top 20 teams, in our opinion. Now, what it's going to be, we know it's speculative. We know it's guesswork. Try to add up all the offseason moves and who looks good. And so about a month in, who has exceeded expectations, who's meeting expectations, and who has fallen on their face? A month in. 3.5 weeks into the season. Safe to say these programs have exceeded what we expected, and I think most people expected. I think Florida State would be leading that pack.
That one sticks out the most, yep.
They were 1 and 12 last year or whatever. 1 and 11, they weren't good.
2 and 10.
Yep. And so here they are.
12-0 to 2 and 10.
And they're only 2-0, but they beat Alabama. And so we'll see. It looks like Mike Norvell has that on a better course. I think Georgia Tech is exceeding expectations with what they've done. They're 3-0 and to beat Clemson. They're expecting to win games now.
They're going to Colorado, not an easy place to play. Good win right away.
Yeah, they've got 3 wins. I mean, they're ranked, and they should be. I'm talking about accomplishments so far. Auburn, better than people thought. They've got a huge game with Oklahoma. Oklahoma, better than maybe some thought, but they thought they were going to be pretty good, and here they are. Tennessee, even though they lost to Georgia, I think Tennessee, without Nico Iamaleava, better than we thought. I think
it's a huge win for A&M. I don't know if any of us really felt like they're going to get that one done.
Yeah, well, they've exceeded expectations so far, but I don't know. To me, that was a coin flip game after seeing Notre Dame in week 1. But yeah, with Mike Elko's team on point.
On the road, a different story.
Sure,
I feel
100%. Like. Also, I think Miami is a team to put in the exceeding expectations. Just what is Carson Beck going to be? Mario Cristobal. They've already, and we'll get to our rankings of the top 5 teams, but Miami would be in that category. Mississippi State, I think, is better than we thought with Jeff Lebby. And Vanderbilt might be the most complete team in college football right now. I mean, when I say that people are like, come on, man. But I don't know that there's a team, certainly in the SEC, that knows who they are more than Vanderbilt. They know exactly what they are.
An identity.
LSU is still trying to find their offense. Georgia's still struggling with some defense. The top heavyweights, Texas is a mess right now offensively. Vanderbilt knows who they are, what they do good, and they do it.
100%. Identity. We saw that with Clark Lee last year. It was really developing. Diego Pavia back. Eli Stower's back. That defense has been elite.
They just have this is what we are. Deal with it. All right. They don't
football, baby.
Meeting up expectations. There's Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State,
I would
LSU.
say Oregon. I know they've been playing kind of bad teams, but the way they're winning these games,
I can't judge Oregon yet. They haven't played anybody.
We'll play at Penn State, so we'll see in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, and we'll get rid of some of these teams in a minute. But Penn State, I mean, at least meeting expectations.
Sure.
There's no room. Texas Tech is doing what they're supposed to have done. I think Iowa State probably better, or right in that little category.
4-0 already.
Worse than expected would include Texas, of course. They are 2-1. Their only loss was to Ohio State, but they haven't looked great. Florida, Virginia Tech, they've already fired their coach. UCLA's fired their coach. Kansas State's terrible. We had them ranked 19.
They lost to Noah Fafita in Tucson the other day.
Yeah, Boise State. Notre Dame's already got 2 losses. So, I mean, we knew they had a tough early schedule, but they're 1-2. We had them ranked in the top 10.
They have to run the table.
And I don't even know if that gets them in, because unless USD gets plays really good, they don't really have another marquee win.
I think if those losses, though, and those are 2 or at least 1 playoff team, which I think Miami for sure is.
Well, let's just say this for Notre Dame. They're in doubt.
Yeah.
They don't control their fate.
They don't control their destiny.
They're going to have to win the rest of their games and then be lucky that they get in. They still might, because they're Notre Dame and they'll be 10-2, but they're not in control of this
isn't
situation.
Northern Illinois as one of the losses.
And they don't play in a conference title game.
Right, yeah.
So, and Clemson has fallen. I mean, Alabama's taken a loss. South Carolina's been disappointing so far, especially on offense. And we had them ranked. And then there's Clemson, who is 1-2. And did we hear the whiniest baby in all of college football yesterday? Dabo Swinney. This guy is insufferable. Listen to this guy. I mean, he's not wrong, but they're 1-2. Take the loss, coach. You lost at home to LSU. You went on the road and lost to Georgia Tech, who you shouldn't lose to based on what you guys do and what their budget is. Brett Key outcoached you. You had his team more ready to play. And listen to Dabo Swinney. This guy.
They want me gone. If they tired of winning, they can send me on their way, because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I'm just asking. Is that good? I don't know if that's good or not.
Maybe because it's in Clemson, he can belittle the media like that. And he went on and on and on.
Yeah.
Feel sorry for me. Actually, Dabo, you make $11 million. We don't feel sorry for you. I mean, you're 1-2. Your record is what your record is. Season not over for you guys, but you've underachieved.
Oh, for sure.
And
you should have won 2 of those games that you lost.
So someone who is in the media and goes to these press conferences, what's going on? Why is Cade Klubnik underperforming? Why is your offensive line suck so bad? Why are you getting pushed around by Georgia Tech? in the trenches, where you brought back 80% of your returning production and you've looked disjointed.
And you rebuttal with, "Oh well, I win here. You want to get rid of me?"
No, and it's just insufferable. Give me a break, guy. Good luck to you. We'll stop paying attention. But let me just say this. So the game time, at least my mind's game time, most deserving top 10. But we'll start with the top 5 because I'm going to throw out the current AP rankings and the coaches. And the current AP poll has Ohio State 1, Penn State, LSU, Miami, Georgia. Then Oregon, Florida State, Texas, Illinois, and A&M. But for the reasons of this conversation and the point of the conversation, let's just go ahead and throw the Longhorns out.
Yes.
Penn State out.
Yep.
Oregon and Illinois. You can say that they've looked good. They haven't played anybody. I can't judge them. This is what this conversation is about. Who have you resume to this point? Most deserving so far. Illinois, they might be a real good team, but they haven't played anybody.
Well, they play Indiana this week. We'll see, right?
Right, exactly. Because, again, these things will change.
Duke isn't enough for me.
Right, no. And a couple of directional schools and
right.
Duke. Illinois might be real good for Brett Bielema. But get rid of those teams. I'm not saying they can't be good when we get to the end.
Just don't have the sample size.
But right now, so far, who are the best teams? Who are the most deserving teams? Who's impressed the most based on the resume they've created through the first month of football? And I would say number 1 for me is Ohio State.
Yes, I agree.
They are the defending national champions. They took down Texas. They hammered their next 2 opponents. And the big question they had coming into the season was at quarterback. And so far, Julian Sayin, as I like to call him, just Sayin, the redshirt freshman is currently leading the nation in completion percentage at nearly 80%.
Yeah.
And plus his array of weapons and he are averaging a touchdown pass on every 9th pass so far under Brian Hartline and Ryan Day. So, again, they've got tougher games coming. The Texas game, they won by 7. They are going to stick at number 1 for me because they won it last year.
I'm with that.
But a touchdown pass every 9th pass, and Julian Sayin is completing 8 of every 10 passes.
Yep.
Accuracy was his strength. Safe to say the quarterback thing looks to be in good hands.
Their defense just looks just fine.
Number 2 on my game time top 5, I'm putting Miami.
Yep, I like that pick as well.
Based on what they've done. They had an impressive win under Notre Dame in week 1. They whipped the previously unbeaten South Florida Bulls, a team that had come in with wins over Boise State and Florida. So the eye test they passed. They've got Carson Beck playing good football. Miami might have the best O-line in the football, and their speed and defense on that side of the ball jumps off the page. And the who have you beaten and who have they beaten argument, they check that too because South Florida had a great resume and they beat them bad.
Yeah.
So Miami's got to be here with a lot. I'm going to put Georgia at 3 because they're Georgia. They're 3-0. They are now 65-5 over their last 65 games under Kirby Smart. 65-5.
Yeah.
With 2 national championships. The win at Tennessee, their biggest question of the offseason was what? Quarterback. Well, Gunnar Stockton answered that bell resoundingly with a great performance, going toe-to-toe with Joey Aguilar on the road. He played great. I trust Kirby Smart will get the defense in shape.
Sure.
He does that. They got good athletes. And Tennessee had a great game plan and jumped out 21-7. But from that point, the adjustments that they made, they're still Georgia. So they're still a top 3 team in my mind.
Yeah.
And to go on the road and beat Tennessee in front of 108,000, I'm putting Georgia 3.
I'll put Georgia 4. The only team I'd keep at 3 is LSU, just because their body of work. That's what I would do. I don't know where you have LSU on this list.
Well,
just their offense looked clunky,
I
but they have
LSU
2 great
4.
wins. Those are big wins. I
have
Florida's,
LSU 4
okay.
for these reasons. Because Georgia's Georgia. LSU's not 65-5 over the last 65 or 60-5. They've got a lot to prove to me still. Because their offense is not there. They only beat Clemson. They only beat Florida by 10 when they forced 5 interceptions and got a pick 6. So I'm putting Georgia ahead of them just based on my eye test plus who Georgia is, what they've been, and Brian Kelly yelling at the media in the postgame. I don't like that attitude, but 4 is good. They're 4. They've got wins at Clemson, home to Florida. But that should have been a wider margin.
It should have been a wider margin.
The
Their
media
offense didn't
asking
look
fair
good.
questions
Yeah,
about
did.
their offense is like, guys, you forced 5 interceptions, you had a pick 6, and you scored 13 offensive points.
Sure.
That's a fair question.
It is a fair question.
And, we're going to be tough judges here.
Yeah, I just think with Georgia, the only thing I would say is they probably should have lost that game. That kicker should have made that, but he missed. You know what I mean? So
They're 60-5.
well, yeah, from a body of work, absolutely. But I'm just talking at this moment.
And so that counts to me at some level
Fair
about
enough.
who's earned their ranking. This is a Georgia program that you have to beat.
Yeah,
you have to beat them. And Tennessee should have had them beat, but didn't finish it. LSU has not gotten to that point for me yet.
That's fair.
But at number 5, I'm not sure. I mean, I could go with Vanderbilt right here. I really could.
I think they're top 10 worthy, no doubt.
Vanderbilt with wins at Virginia Tech and South Carolina by a combined 55 points.
Yeah.
Now, A&M could be 5. That what they did on Saturday night, they haven't done in more than a decade. It's one of the biggest wins for the program in a long time for Mike Elko to go on the road and make that many mistakes. And they had punt blocked. They had blown coverages. They did a lot wrong in that game. They still won. That says a lot to me that their young quarterback didn't blink. They didn't flinch. They fought through it. They did not play. Even Mike Elko said after the game, we didn't play great, and we won at Notre Dame. Their defense, though, still has serious questions for me.
Yeah, they do.
I'm not sure. They didn't mean to give up 40 and Notre Dame with the botched extra point. I'm still concerned about that, but I could put them at 5. I could also put Georgia Tech there. You could put OU, and who would be 5 is a fair question. Florida State, maybe.
Yeah, the way they whip.
I need more body of work.
Yeah, the way they beat.
They've only played
Alabama.
2 games so far, and the Alabama game stands out. So you could put Florida State right
They're
there.
going to be 3-0. They play Kent State, which is one of the worst teams in football this weekend.
Wow, that's not going to do much for me. But again, I think the top 4 for me are cleared so far. For me, and that's Ohio State until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
That's Miami. Miami's the team that probably wouldn't have been anybody's top 4 when the season began, but they've played their way into that based on their early performance. Georgia's Georgia, LSU's in it, and then who's next becomes what we'll find out. Because you could argue whoever wins the Oklahoma-Auburn game this week belongs in the top 6 or 7 because if Oklahoma wins it, they're undefeated. Ahead of the Red River Showdown. Oklahoma fans were hoping to be 3-1. Because if Oklahoma wins, they've already got an Auburn win and a Michigan win early in the first month of the year. So, again, there's still a lot to play out, but those are my top 5 right now.
I would probably go at this point, even though there's not a lot of body of work. If we're going off straight that, you'd probably throw in a team like a Vanderbilt and the Georgia Tech up on this list.
I just want to make sure Vanderbilt's in this conversation. Because I know they're cute and it's fun. To go on the road to Blacksburg, Virginia, to go on the road to South Carolina and beat those teams by 55 points. Yep. And in the fourth quarter, you're warming up the bus. Clark Lee has that program in a good place. I mean, A&M has more questions with their defense. LSU has more questions with their offense right now. Texas has questions everywhere. Oklahoma still has, I think, some offensive line questions that they've yet to answer. And can their quarterback stay healthy? I don't know. I just like that Vanderbilt team a lot.
I would say just because of the roster they have, I have more trust in Penn State at that point. But their body of work, they beat Villanova by 50. I can't really
trust Penn State yet. I think they'll be there.
I just think from a roster standpoint, if I had to say someone at 5, but when it comes to resume, it's the teams that we just talked about in the SEC.
Yeah, but that's what this ranking is based on. Your accomplishment to this point. Again, get rid of Penn State. Texas is out. They haven't beaten anybody yet. That'll all change, but for right now, Vanderbilt's in my conversation because they are a team to watch.
I'm excited to see this Utah-Texas Tech game because I think it's a top 10 team. If you win this, especially if it's a dominant number,
they
Utah
could jump
or
into
Tech,
this conversation.
They could jump in this conversation for sure.
Well, they're also jumping into the front runner in the Big 12 conversation.
Yeah,
too,
them and Iowa State.
Game.
Those are the 3 kind of cream of the crop right now.
Well, and I just think based on eye test, whoever wins Utah, Texas Tech has better players than Iowa State does.
Yes, agreed.
So I would favor them in a head-to-head because the winner of the conference will get in. And maybe this is the year Big 12 could argue for 2, but because Iowa State's off to a 3-0 start. But a lot of football left. That's just the first month snapshot. Ohio State's Ohio State by all appearance. Georgia. But credit to Miami. They've jumped into this conversation. Florida State, Vanderbilt, LSU we knew was going to be good, but they've proven their – because the thing about LSU that maybe I'm not giving enough credit for is their big question was defense. And their defense is lights out.
That's the thing. Yeah, they look
lights out.
A little clunky on offense,
so
but their defense is unreal.
Kind of like you trust Kirby Smart to get the defense right. You kind of trust Brian Kelly. They'll get the offense where it needs to be.
And Garrett Nussmeier, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, the dumb questions, the spoiled LSU fans notwithstanding Brian Kelly.
Why can't you run it on third down that well?
Right.
Well, you're spoiled.
Well, because even us dumb guys in the media know that a bad third down percentage and no running game eventually gets you beat in the SEC, even with a better defense, what they're doing. So
and 5 picks should get you more than 13 points.
Yeah, and one of them,
that's what I'm saying.
100%.
7 is coming from the pick 6.
Come on. But a win's a win. You're right, Brian Kelly. But we're looking big picture here.